Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
And good morning and welcome to Top Story, 7360300. Always the number to call, and our thanks there to Mr. George Jones.
Love that song. Best part of Friday. I just am curious as to why that song hasn't left your repertoire of songs, and all the songs I like are gone.
I don't know.
This is all those conspiracy theorists out there. Come on, get on this. Why do you not think this is odd? Kelly Klass.
I don't know.
And you're like, and you know what? And I don't care. 2 months to go.
I don't know, and I'm sticking to that story.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome. Busy day today. We have Ella Donahue coming up at 8:20 with a CSI update. At 8:30, we've got the
Forever Plaid, Magic Valley Arts Council. Rob Newman, we had him on before. He was a delightful man.
Yeah.
And Carolyn White.
Forever Plaid. We'll find out what that is all about.
Mm-hmm. Then we have Carmen Babb on from Psychiatric Services for Idaho.
Yeah, she has some complaints about Optum, which is the Medicaid payment provider to Idaho mental health providers.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be interesting.
And she's not the only one. So we're going to find out about this.
Yeah. So that's coming up at 9 o'clock this morning.
Right.
Meanwhile, hey, we
we also have our lunch today.
We do.
Kelly,
that's right.
Canyon Crest with Rebecca Mills-Soika. She won again. She played everything possible she could play and won, and she's bringing her friends. So
she
it should
must
be
have
a
had
lot
a
of
lot
fun.
of points built up.
Apparently. So anyway, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we'll be treated like stars today.
Yeah, one of the final few.
One of the final few.
Yeah, so looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we probably have some Open Mind Friday time today.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, from now until 8:20, and then 8:40 until 9 will be open, and the rest of it we've got folks coming in. But other than that, and I just wanted to mention that, I don't have a lot of friends. I just have a few.
Well, no one wants to hang out in the ham radio basement with you.
I don't understand that.
They actually want to do things.
But I do have a new best friend.
Oh, do you now?
Yes. I don't know who they are yet because they won the $2 million Powerball thing, and they haven't come forward yet. So I don't know who they are.
I got a little nervous because I got confused as to what we play here at the station because Kat usually buys the stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh my gosh, did we win? And oh my gosh, I forgot to give her $1 yesterday. And I thought, oh my gosh, am I going to be the only one at the studio?
Well, unfortunately, we invested our money toward the Mega Millions instead of the Powerball. But
anyway, whoever you are, Kelly's new best friend, stop by the station and say hi.
Where have you been all my life?
How timely, especially since you're about to retire.
And who are you anyway?
And who needs Social Security when you have a best friend like this?
Exactly. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
See? So I'm waiting impatiently to see who it is.
Yeah, 736-0300.
Yeah, give me a call.
Stop by the station. Yeah.
Actually, call my cell.
Yeah. I would dare you to give that one out, big guy. You will never do it.
We have a caller for this Open Mind Friday. Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
I just want to let everyone know in the Valley about an event coming up to Saturday from 10 o'clock till 3 p.m. At the Valley Country Store in Jerome. And it's the first annual Harvest Festival. And they're going to be raising money for the Jerome Rec Center. And the CSI basketball players will be taking donations. They're going to be pumping gas and washing your window and checking the air on your tire and so forth at the gas station, and all the donations go to the rec center.
Well, cool.
And then there's going to be a lot of things going on. Main attractions, this is for you, Kelly. The Mechanical Bull is going to be there.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that one, Cal.
And then there's mini train rides, and this is for Jill, the dunk tank.
Oh, God.
I know she misses doing that.
She really does.
I think I'm still wet.
Yeah.
Pumpkin painting, face painting, and then there's a lot of huge sale prices. And then the bounce house for the kids. And here, Kelly, here's for you, pulled pork sandwiches.
There you go.
Caramel apples.
So this is
prize giveaways.
This is tomorrow?
Yes.
What time?
from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Jerome Valley Country Store.
All right, sounds good. Well,
Okay,
that'll give
thanks for letting
folks
us
a
know.
place to go because we got farmers market tomorrow.
Yes, I'm
You're
going to be at the
there.
farmers market 9 to 1 with soup.
Soup.
I think 2 pots. I think my award-winning chili.
There you
and
go.
then I can't decide between my split pea because everyone loves split pea, but everyone loves my mock chicken. So
Well, bring them both.
Well, then I'll have 3 pots of soup.
There you go.
Then it
see?
will definitely be assured to rain.
I don't know what the forecast is. I haven't seen the forecast.
Because when I brought the 2 pots, it poured and the wind blew and people left.
So the more you bring,
Clearly.
the more inclement the weather is.
Clearly. So my freezer's filled with soup.
I see. All right. Well, hey, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you two this morning?
We are
Great.
swell.
How are you?
Boy, well, it's a great morning. This is Leah. I just wanted to report
Leah,
in
how
Kelly.
are you?
Yes. Well, I'm great.
Good.
And I've got all the fixings ready to make some sauerkraut because he gave me the recipe.
No way.
He did.
Yes,
no
he did.
way. I heard he wasn't going to.
Did you call him
No.
and tell him that Kelly told you to give him the recipe? Give you the recipe?
Or else. I told him that you said you had all the dirt on him. And he laughed and he said, yes, he does.
Oh.
So he gave you the recipe and probably a whole bunch of other stuff too, huh?
Did he promise you not to give out the recipe? Did he make you
no.
promise that? No?
No, I told him that I would not spread it around. And at first I told him, I said, I really don't expect you to do this, but I said I needed to call you because Kelly said. And, and I always do it. Kelly
for
says.
those
right?
who are wondering who we're talking about, that's Ray Parrish.
Yeah, for the
he's-
October
yeah.
feast with Kiwanis. Yeah.
He and
But
I graduated together.
Yeah, and apparently did a lot of other things together. He says he has some major dirt on you.
He's lying.
Well, you know what?
He has
Hopefully,
nothing on me.
when we have Kelly's party November 20th at the Turf Club, 5 to 8, open to the public, I'm going to make sure Ray comes and tells a few of those.
Yeah, right. We'll have to have a Kelly roast or something.
We'll have to have
you know?
Leah come because it sounds like she can really twist some arms here. Way to go,
say.
Leah. Well, thanks for letting us know.
Maybe she could find out who the $2 million winner is and who my next
who your best
new
friend is.
Yeah,
I know.
We have some good news this morning, too. Remember yesterday morning we told you about there's a horse thief loose in town, and they stole the horse from the top of Vickers Western store.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they found the horse.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Was it okay?
I think it had a little bit of couple of wounds. I don't know.
It was violated. The poor horse.
They found it out by Devil's Corral.
Oh, geez. Now, what's the point?
Which indicates to me that was probably some young pranksters.
But what's the point? You take the horse off and you dump it at Devil's Corral. What's the point?
Years ago, they stole a big dinosaur. I think it was off of Don Piper's gas station or something we had then, and stuck it up on the gymnasium of the high school, Twin Falls High School.
Now that sounds like, okay, so now you know where it is. No one knew where the poor horse was.
At least they knew where it was.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, there were apparently some people out hunting or something out by Devil's Corral, and they saw it, and they called in. So they don't have the horse thief yet, but they do have the horse back.
They said they got a call from a young man at 9 a.m. I wonder if they had some remorse.
I don't know.
Remorse for the horse.
It makes you wonder if they really were out hunting and saw it, or if you're right, they just started feeling guilty.
Maybe they heard our show.
Or they heard our show, and they knew that the story was out.
Because,
it
everyone
was
listens.
only a matter of time before they got nabbed.
Well, I'm glad the horse is back, and he'll have to have a few repairs, bless his heart.
Yeah, but he'll be back.
I hope he's doesn't have PTSD or anything. It's probably like, don't put me back up on that roof.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to bring this up yet. I'll hold this until 8:40. We'll have a little more time to talk about.
I have no idea which one, but that's okay.
Illegal Pete's.
Oh, yeah.
They want them to rename the restaurant chain's name from Illegal Pete's.
What? What, Alien Pete's?
They didn't offer any suggestions. They just said that illegal was a derogatory term.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that at 8:40 and see what you think. If you think the term illegal is a derogatory term. Apparently not. Have you been watching the World Series?
Yes.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, apparently you're one of a few. Because there's a whole lot more people right now watching football than there is baseball, America's national pastime.
Well, maybe I think if the Red Sox were in the World Series, more people would watch.
Well,
or
that's
maybe
one of the theories.
Yankees, although the only ones who watch the Yankees are the Yankees. But I don't know. I mean, we started to watch it because Kansas City is sort of that Moneyball team. They don't have a lot of stars, and they didn't expect to get to the World Series. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of either of them. So.
Well, on Tuesday night,
the
first game of the 2014 World Series drew just 12.2 million viewers to Fox, making it the lowest-rated game one on record.
Well, The Voice was on. Come on.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, too.
Yeah.
The Voice was
Game
on.
two on Wednesday night fared somewhat better with 12.9 million, but this week more people watched NCIS New Orleans.
Really?
The Big Bang Theory.
Really?
And for that matter, The Walking Dead.
I don't watch any of those shows. Do you?
My wife watches NCIS New Orleans.
So are these the same demographic that would watch baseball?
I don't know.
And
There's
now
just so many more choices.
And now I
though.
Can't have my Casey panties on.
No,
so,
I know. They're just ruining baseball. Top story. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. What is Illegal Pete's?
Illegal Pete's is a restaurant chain in Colorado.
Oh, I see. Well, I had a suggestion for what they could rename it to.
Okay. Do I need my hand on the delay here?
It's live.
How about Illegal Pedro's?
I don't know. They probably won't like. I like that.
Bam.
I like Illegal Pete.
Bam.
I like Illegal Pedro's. Yeah, it's kind of the same reason that the Washington Redskins are going to change their name. They're going to drop. They're going to drop Washington because it's just too embarrassing to have the name Washington in their name.
Yeah. Ho! Thank you. He'll be here all week.
You. Yeah, that's a good idea. Illegal Pedro's. Maybe they'd like that. I don't know. But political correctness is drowning us, folks.
Well, I think the Redskins is a whole other issue.
See, I don't. I think.
Well, good. You're not a Redskin.
I think hang in there, Redskins, because there are a lot of Native Americans whose Washington Redskins is their favorite football team.
And and there's a lot that aren't.
There are a few who will get offended by the stupidest things. There are people who will get offended by it's a blue sky.
No, it's not the same.
So the people with blue hair should be offended because it's blue. You can find anything. If we let the libs eliminate all the offensive words out of the dictionary, we would have a dictionary that's about 25% of what it is now.
Yeah, we should be able to offend everyone. It's not the libs doing it, it's the Native Americans that are doing this. And you know what? It is derogatory.
People can find something offensive out of anything.
It is offensive. It's actually defined as an offensive term in the dictionary.
They're
not making it up.
We'll be right back with a CSI update here on Top Story.
Man of songs.
7360300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Be sure to stop in at Canyon Pond. I think they're open all the time. Well, not at night, but I think they're open 7 days a week, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I know they were open until 6 or 6:30.
Yeah.
They said.
And they got everything. We were in there.
We were.
When did we go in there? Wednesday.
Wednesday, because it was after Rotary.
That's
I ate a late lunch just for you.
I know, and I thank you. They have guns. They have camping stuff, woodworking stuff, fishing poles, tools, jewelry, guns. They have camping supplies. They have guns. You name it, they have just about anything you're looking for. And you just need to stop in and say hi because it's a fun store. It's a clean store. One of those pawn shops where you don't have to worry about going in and getting your clothes dirty,
Right. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. They keep things spick and span in there. So tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you, and they're on Shoshone Street, right across from Wells Toyota, Shoshone and 3rd Avenue South. Can't miss them. Got right there on the corner. Got a big old sign out front that says Canyon Pond.
Mm-hmm.
We have with us Ella Donahue from CSI with a CSI update. Good morning, Ella.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing
good.
swell.
How are you?
Good.
You got stuff coming up at CSI to talk about?
We have a lot going on this weekend. It's a big weekend for CSI. A bunch of Halloween-themed stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry, we can't help ourselves.
We're done with the
We're
sound
totally
effects now.
2-year-olds. Go on, Ella. Fine. Joy kill.
Tomorrow is the enter a pumpkin at the CSI World Record Pumpkin event. Just make sure your pumpkin has eyes, eyebrows, nose, and mouth are completely carved out. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just carve it out. For each pumpkin you enter, you get a chance to win prizes, including a deluxe grill from Bish's RV or a car from Randy Hansen Automotive. So Enter Pumpkins, you get a car.
Not a bad deal. Or a chance to win a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A chance. But I mean,
otherwise,
you're going to get
them in a lot of trouble, Ella.
You get a chance to win a car, but I mean, it's still better than, going and have to buy a car.
Oh, absolutely.
This is true.
Yeah.
And we'll be receiving pumpkins all morning starting at 6 a.m. in an effort to beat the current record of 1,320 pumpkins. It's free and enter as many as you want. There are games for the kids and vendors, and winners are being announced at 1 p.m. And this is in front of the campus near Falls Avenue.
Cool.
Great.
We could be world renowned as a Guinness.
I know,
in the
that's
Guinness
pretty
Book
amazing.
of World Records.
I know.
The most pumpkins assembled in 1 point.
Yes.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Could be better
So we
than
need 300.
could be better than some of the things we're being known for sometimes.
No kidding.
KKK snowman, whatever. Go on.
We have the Great Pumpkin 5K starting at 9 a.m. near the softball field. This is CSI's most popular 5K, drawing hundreds of walkers and runners. And they also show up in costumes, so you can do this walk or run in a costume. And the entry fee is $30 per person, $10 for kids for the 1 Mile Youth Challenge.
Very cool. This is that time of year where people can dress up to look weird doing anything, and people will just say, it's just the Halloween season.
Yeah.
Do that in the middle of June, though, and you're going to get funny looks.
Yeah,
Unless they say, I'm not wearing a costume. And some people, it looks like they have their Halloween costume on all year long.
That is true.
Yeah.
Oy.
Now, this is one of my favorite events, is the annual Halloween Festival, and it goes on from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the CSI Rec Center. I will be there along with many of my other friends with Senate and Phi Theta Kappa, and we are doing a candy walk, so come join us for the candy walk.
Cool.
Now, what is that, a candy walk?
It's like a cake walk without the cake. You got all the numbers, and then you play music. It's like musical chairs. So then they keep walking during the music, and then when the music stops, the number that they're on, and then if we draw it, then they get a big candy bar. And then all the rest of the participants get like a handful of candy out of our miscellaneous candies.
Isn't that sweet? Everybody wins a trophy.
Exactly.
So this is
nice.
for everyone?
Yes, it's for everyone. Even parents can go in and stuff like that. We have a bunch of people. This is I think it's a fairly popular event. That's why we do it.
Cool.
Okay.
We're about out of time, so we better move along here.
Quick.
It's breast cancer night tonight and tomorrow, and if you wear pink, your $3 admission will be donated to St. Luke's 900 Women Project to provide free mammograms. And Thriller is going to be happening 4 p.m. next Thursday in the Fine Arts Auditorium. And the total length of the show is 30 minutes. It's free and open to everyone.
Okay, the breast cancer awareness thing, that's at the Corn Maze.
Yes, that's at the Corn
Maze.
Maze. Sorry. Yeah, the breast cancer awareness is at the Corn Maze.
Wear pink, and your $3 admission price will be donated to St. Luke's 900 Women Project. Cool.
And if you get lost in there, do you get a free mammogram? Because you'll be... I will be lost. I drove by that place yesterday, and I thought, I don't know. Would I be able to make it through there? I don't know. I'd be scared.
What happens if you go in and get lost?
Yeah.
You just follow
What
other
if you
people,
get lost?
or you just, or is
Has
it clearly
anyone gotten
marked?
lost yet?
I'm pretty sure, like, at the end of when they're trying to close it, they send a bunch of the people working the Corn Maze, and then they go out and, like, find all the stragglers.
Nice.
So you would,
Have
you
they
would
had a lot of
eventually come out.
stragglers?
I'm not sure, but, you would definitely make it out of there alive.
Eventually.
Yes, eventually.
So if I go in
might be
at
next
5
week, but you'll get out.
Might be 10:30, but whatever.
Well, we thought maybe that's where the horse went that was lost, off of the Vickers
The
Western
Corn
store.
Maze.
But they found the horse out by Devil's Corral.
Yeah.
So apparently it made it through the Corn Maze fine.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever done the Corn Maze, Cal?
I haven't, no.
Well, you
I
should do
haven't
it this
either.
year.
I might have to.
Maybe we should do it.
All right. Hey, thanks, Ella. Appreciate
Ella.
it.
You're welcome.
Have
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Yes.
Next up, we have the, what is that? The plaid?
Forever Plaid.
Forever Plaid. All right, we're going to find out what that is with the Magic Valley Arts Council here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. So apparently we don't have the Forever Plaid people.
Apparently not.
Okay. Well,
I don't see anyone in the lobby.
Uh-oh.
And that's never good.
No, it's not.
Don't like that.
They didn't write it down in their party planner.
That, can I just say something for the record? No, I can. I'm sorry. I've done a lot of radio interviews to promote my book. I've done TV appearances. I've done stuff like that. You pretty much need to remember, they depend on programming. If I would have missed any of my radio interviews or my TV spots, I don't think I'd be asked on again. I don't know why people don't remember. That's my rant.
Okay, very good. Well,
It's important because you promote your event.
Just wanted to say, too, that the folks at Stanley & Company want you to remember to call Pat Hartzell because he can fix you up. to see the Lowen honey loader in operation at one of the many dairies or feedlots around the area that have a Lowen honey loader on their premises.
Before you leave the show, before December, you and I have to go see one. I've never seen one. Want to see one go 7 miles an hour. I want to see someone shovel as fast as the 7 mile an hour one. That's what I want to see.
I don't think that's going to happen as far as somebody shoveling as fast as one of these things can load.
Be hilarious. Anyway, we have to go see one.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll get a hold of Pat Hartzell with Stanley and Company and see if he can make that happen. His number is 280-1167.
Apparently, you and I have a big bucket list. I have this bucket list for us now. Yeah. We'll go to Canyon Pond. We'll do lunch. We'll see the honey loader.
Yeah, we've got the Canyon Pond thing on our
we got that on check.
Yeah,
check.
That's right. There you
check.
go.
Okay.
It's Open Mind Friday, so we've got a caller. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I was wondering if Jill could name any Native Americans who were offended by the name of the Washington Redskins football team.
Well, I'm not going to name them on the air. I actually know someone, so thank you. But yes, and it doesn't matter whether you think it's offensive, they think it's offensive. It's like I'm Jewish. If I could think something's offensive where you think, oh, it's just a common term, sorry, it doesn't matter. It's their level of judgment, and it's defined as an offensive term in the dictionary. So, you know what? I do know someone, but I won't say it on the air.
Well, that
and it doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't matter. It's the group. That's what matters.
So any group can come up with anything that's offensive, and we'll need to stop doing it.
Well, you know what? You think something's offensive. There are offensive things out there, and people are offended. And you know what? People say a lot about us.
I'm just saying.
The Jews that have, there's a phrase people use that I will never repeat. I'm sorry. People think it's just a phrase. Not just a phrase.
I am offended by vegan recipes.
Stop being so ridiculous.
I know, that's different.
I mean,
I don't know what I was
you minimize
thinking.
Things like that when you say stuff like that, because there are a lot of hateful things that are said.
But even though I am offended by it, that's okay. I mean, it's still justified. I mean, I'm not justified in being offended by that. But
you can be offended by whatever
anybody
you
else
want.
wants to be offended by, that's justified.
If it's an ethnic group that something is derogatory, which there's plenty of things, you know what? There you go. It's like being a comic, and I'm a woman. I could say stuff about being a Jew. I could say stuff about being a woman. You couldn't do that. You know, it plays. If you're African American, you can make fun. Someone else can't. That's the story of that
African Americans make fun of honkies all the time.
They don't name football teams after them.
I'm not a football team.
What do we say about African Americans?
That offends me. But if I were to say anything about me being offended by that, then I would be a racist.
No, you would not.
Sure, I would.
Where have you heard that term even used lately?
Are you kidding me?
You hear that
you hear it all the time on the Comedy Channel.
Oh, stop.
Are you kidding me?
Please. Are you kidding me?
7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, I've listened to this program for years and years and years, and this is only the second time I've ever called in.
Well, we appreciate you listening.
Well,
thank you.
No, I just can't miss it. It's great entertainment.
You're addicted. I'm sorry.
I just don't call because I agree with Kelly 99.99% of the time. And the old Johnny Carson show, when it changed, it wasn't the same. They called it the Tonight Show. So when Kelly goes off and does his retirement thing on us, I just think it's not going to be the same.
Oh, but please listen if I'm still here.
You know what? It might be better.
Kelly, I wanted to tell you something else, too, is I only have one credit card, and we don't use it very much. It's for emergencies, but other than that, we use cash.
Good for you.
Yes. I think I'm going to have to go to that because I'm getting a little worried about all the hacks that are going on.
Well, yeah, you'd be surprised how many people cannot correctly count change.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised because I've seen that. I know, and then you hand them cash, and it's like, what's this?
But doesn't their cash register?
Do you have 3 forms of ID, sir?
But don't they plug in the numbers and then the change comes up?
Well, yeah. No, very few people really can. You don't find anybody anymore that counts out change. They just give you the change that the computer cash register says to give you, whether it's right or wrong. So
we can't count
anymore. But thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that.
Was that what he was calling in about? I thought he was going to finally agree with me. I was waiting for the agreement.
I did too, and he said 99.99%. But
today,
we'll be right back here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We do have a little more news. But
hey, you're supposed to play something.
Oh!
I have to make an announcement. Tomorrow is Kelly Klass's birthday. That's right. He's going to be a big 6'2". But who's counting? Woo-hoo. Anyway, but because it's tomorrow, we didn't open the show with this song, so we will this segment because, it's not top priority. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, Kelly, hit it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Hand me a tissue, Jill. That's just too much.
Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my dear friend.
My goodness.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. But it's not till tomorrow, so.
No, but we're not going to be on the air tomorrow unless, of course, we're going to do a special show just for Kelly's birthday.
Yeah, right.
But I won't be here. And
Nor
I know
will
you
I.
are. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you very
what are you
much.
doing tonight?
My family's taking me out for a special birthday meal.
Oh, good.
So
hopefully they're giving you nice presents, Tracy.
I don't really need presents.
Oh,
It's
no.
just,
It's just
getting
the
together with
the
family.
thought.
That's right.
That's more important.
We've already announced to our children that they're not getting an inheritance. So as soon as we did that, our gifts stopped, So anyway, 736.
Anyway, wish Kelly happy birthday.
Top Story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm about offended by every single policy that's brought by any liberal or Democrat. So I don't want to hear about being offended. I don't care if they're offended. I'm offended every day, and no one cares, so I don't care if they're offended. And furthermore, one more thing.
As long as you're on a roll.
I never want to hear Jill make fun of a conservative because she's not one. That means she's not allowed by her own words.
Right.
You know what?
Thank you.
That's right, Jill.
And that is not right.
Sure. Yeah, you're not a conservative. You can't make fun of them.
When do I make fun? How do I have to make fun? All you have to do is make fun of yourself. Look at your policies or lack thereof. That's enough of a joke. There is. Bam.
Listen to that.
You know what? It's sad that man's comment is like that. And, we're quite a diverse country, and I think we need to respect everyone. What happened to the golden rule? Why not be nice to each other? But you know what? Move on.
So I don't think calling illegal Pete's illegal Pete there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard the entire story on this, and I don't think our listeners have either.
Well, I'll get to it here as soon as we take this call.
Maybe someone's going to wish you a happy birthday.
Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
That's right. Happy birthday, Kelly.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's interesting to me. Democrats, Jill, homosexuals, illegal aliens, they're all so easily offended today. But, I'm offended, my mom's offended by the idea that society is working on welcoming males into women's restrooms. And, Jill supports all the gay rights, transgender movements across the nation. It's another display of living a life of double standards, which is a democratic tradition, isn't it?
I have no idea why it's double standards. I think it's double standards for the conservatives. You abide by the Constitution. You think that get government out of your life, and you're the first one to tell someone if they can, who they can marry, what birth control they can use, what they should do with their body. So if you want to talk about contradictions and double standards, look right in the conservative backyard, because no one will sit there and condemn someone more than they will. And where is the government? Get the government out of our lives unless you don't approve of what someone's doing. Don't legislate morality, and huge double standard on the conservative side.
We've been doing it all wrong for the last 2,000 years. All of a sudden, the libs have decided everything we've been doing has all been wrong, and we have to change it today.
2,000 years.
I want to talk about this. 3 weeks shy of the opening of the newest Illegal Pete's in Old Town Fort Collins.
It's supposed to be a lovely town, Fort Collins, by the way.
A restaurant owner, Pete Turner, came to Fort Collins Wednesday to listen to a crowd of concerned residents who asked that he change his business name. Following the meeting with Fort Collins residents on Wednesday, Pete Turner will have to consider their request to change the name of his restaurant, Illegal Pete's.
Why does he call it Illegal Pete's? Is he a Mexican restaurant? Is he illegal? What's the deal?
The Boulder-based restaurant with 6 locations in Boulder and Denver is modeled after Mexican food from San Francisco's Mission District, specifically oversized burritos. The name Illegal Pete's, Turner said, is a literary reference to a bar in a novel he read as an English major in Boulder. Pete also refers to his own name and his father's. When he started the restaurant in 1995, Turner hoped that the name would be ambiguous enough to spark people's interest, perhaps referring to counterculture activity. But on Wednesday, 30 or so community members explained the negative context of the word illegal, or the I word, as some referred to it as, and its importance, down to its use as the name of a restaurant. Since I know the context I have been labeled with the word illegal, it makes a huge difference to me, said Lucy Gonzalez, who's 25. As part of a wider effort to drop the I word, Gonzalez said others believe that any use of the word illegal connected to people should be stopped.
Well, they do refer illegals all the time, and maybe in 1995 they didn't. And you know what? Pete can name his restaurant whatever he wants. If you don't want to patronize it, great, don't.
I'm for Pete. There you go, Pete. Jill said it herself. You can name it that if you want to.
It's America. You can do
Absolutely.
what you want, but there are
Absolutely.
consequences. You can protest that. You don't have to patronize it. And honestly, the term illegal, we use it all the time for illegal immigrants, and it has
illegal
a different
aliens.
Well, it has a different connotation than it probably did in 1995. But now you hear illegals all the time.
But I know, but illegal is illegal. I mean, you can't change a fact. It's like saying the sky is blue. Somebody is offended by blue. You still can't change the fact that the sky is blue. You have somebody in this country who's not supposed to be here. It's illegal. They are illegal. I mean, it's fact.
Right, but it's a Mexican restaurant, so there you go. If it was illegal pizza and they're selling pot, that would have a different connotation, because he said he started it more for counterculture activity. Whatever.
So Pete, what do you think?
Pete, do what you want.
Should Pete change the name of his restaurant, or should he just keep it Illegal Pete's?
736-0300.
Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, turn down the radio.
Yeah. Woo.
Boy, we're loud.
We've got to go to the next one here. Top story. You are on the air. Good morning. What do you think?
I am dumbfounded at Jill's common sense that just came out of her mouth. I cannot believe that she actually said that.
I actually do have common sense a lot of the time. Oh, thank you so much, in the most patronizing way.
I am so proud of you. You've given me hope, Jill. Thank you.
Well, we should all have some hope on Friday.
Oh, my.
I've said that a lot. You can say whatever you want. You can be as bigoted and discriminatory as you want with your words, your actions, or whatever. I've said this many times, but there are consequences. So don't say that people don't have to react. They don't have to have they don't have to patronize your restaurant. You can do whatever you want. You can say the nasty things you want to say. That doesn't mean people have to accept it. I'm sorry. There you go. Do what you want.
736-0300. Top story. You're on the air. What do you think?
Well, good morning again. This is Leah.
Hi,
Leah, how you doing there?
Good. I couldn't help but weigh in on this one.
Okay.
You know, and Jill, you're right. I mean, there's consequences to everything. But you know, our language is not like Latin. It's not a dead language. I mean, for heaven's sakes, back at the time of Chaucer, if you said that somebody was silly, you meant they were handy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
or gay, you were happy. Remember that?
People
used to be gay, were happy.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and people smoke fags.
Oh yes.
They smoke what?
Fags.
Really? I never heard that term for cigarettes.
And it started over in England.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it was a fag.
Yeah. That's right.
I'll be darned. I learned something today.
Thank you, Leah.
I didn't
Kelly
think that
learned
was
something
possible.
before his birthday. So go on. Oh, was she done?
Yeah, apparently she was done because she hung up. So anyway, okay, so we got Illegal Pete's here, and now people are offended by the name illegal. They want him to drop illegal from Illegal Pete's. So what do you think? 736-0300 is the number to call. I don't know. When is it going to stop?
Well, when is it going to stop? Why do you have to have it stop?
Hey, guess what, everybody? There's this word here that we can be offended by. What happens to Christians if actually it is happening. People are offended by the mention.
Christians scream about things all the time.
Mention of the word God. You know, that offends me, and I think that Christian churches should drop that from their name.
What about the woman? What about the woman who's making Toys R Us drop the Breaking Bad characters because she is so offended and didn't fit up to her family values. Like, I'm sorry, people are offended all the time about stuff, and a business or a person can decide whether they want to go with that or not. And Illegal Pete's might not sell too much Mexican food in Fort Collins now. That's all I'm saying.
I'll bet you they got people waiting at the door to get their food.
Oh, I'm sure, because the people who just don't care about anyone's feelings
today, that would be the first restaurant
I would visit. That to me is disgusting. It's like, why would you support people that are discriminatory or whatever?
I am not supporting discrimination. I am supporting the fact that it's asinine that they think that it's derogatory. It's crazy.
You know what? We live in America, and it's like I said before, there's a lot of things that are derogatory, and Leah's absolutely right. Words have changed, things have changed over time, and you tend to not use those words anymore, and there's plenty of words that we don't use anymore. Like, oh, let me guess, the N word that's in, what was it, Huckleberry Finn 176 times, or was that right? That book?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer, yeah.
And they used to call themselves that many years ago,
well,
and it was
and
just
guess
fine.
What?
But
now
it's not now.
And that's fine.
Holy smokes.
I don't think, why shouldn't things change? If things didn't change, women wouldn't have the right to vote. Blacks wouldn't be able to marry whites. Blacks wouldn't be able to vote. I mean, things change. I'm sorry, it's not the good old days where you can discriminate against everyone, but hey, be a little sensitive.
7360300. Top story, you're on the air. What do you think?
Why is it okay for Illegal Pete's to keep its name, but the Washington Redskins have to change their name?
Because redskin is actually an offensive term. It would be like an offensive term for
According
anyone.
To who? I mean,
Webster's Dictionary and the Native Americans.
The president of the Navajo Nation sat in the owner's box with the owner of the Redskins and watched the game the other night.
That's right.
Maybe they're trying to work on a compromise, but that term was originated as offensive, and it was not a nice word when they referred to Native Americans as Redskins.
So what about the red-skinned potato, which we raise here in Idaho? Is that offensive then? Are we going to have to change the name of the potato?
Whenever you come up with something, you come up with the most ridiculous example.
Because it's all ridiculous. It's no more ridiculous than changing the name of the team.
Oh, my gosh.
7360300.
If you had the N-word for a mascot, you would think that's okay? My gosh.
Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Happy early birthday, Kelly.
Thank you.
Yep. It's just ridiculous how easily people are offended. I mean, come on, we got to change every last little thing because a couple of people get out of their knickers. I mean,
it's not a couple of people.
And I think that I saw a lot of changes in the restaurant to Undocumented Pete's.
Undocumented Pete's.
There you go. Why not?
Actually, I kind of like that. Top story, you are on the air. Good morning. What do you think?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I was calling because I just find it really I find it ungodly that the Redskins have been around since the 30s. This restaurant's been around since the 90s, and now all of a sudden people are offended.
Why weren't they offended 15, 20 years ago?
Well, how do you know they were? How do you know they weren't? How do you know they weren't? How do you know they haven't been trying for years?
That's how we know nobody said anything. So
how do you know? They've probably been sending letters for years.
Here's the bottom line.
They have been sending letters for years.
There are people in this world today who just are out looking for a reason to be offended because they think, oh, man, we can make somebody do something at our will now, or if they don't, we can sue them. And they're looking for easy money.
They're
looking for attention. There's no rhyme, nor reason, nor justification behind this Illegal Pete's thing. It's just another stupid thing that a certain part of our society is doing today.
Is that right?
That's
Maybe we should just eliminate all the discrimination laws too, because they're just suck it up when you don't get a job.
To do with discrimination.
Just suck it up that you can get fired in Idaho for being gay.
We're going to talk about Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement this next hour and how they seem to be messing that up. We'll be right back after the news. And welcome back to Top Story, 7360300. Always the number to call. Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
So it's what, overcast and 48 today?
It was snowing when I went out there.
Yeah.
I didn't look. He always asks me the weather, and sometimes I just don't look. I do what I got to do.
Well, my wife told me yesterday that around Halloween we are expecting rain mixed with snow.
Oh, how fabulous.
So
hopefully not tomorrow. I'm going to be at the farmer's market.
The only Halloween I can remember taking the kids out years ago was on a Halloween night where it was snowing. You could hardly see your hand in front of you, and the snowflakes were as big as silver dollars.
And yet it was worth it for the candy.
We were talking about that last night, and that's the only one we remember. So.
Of course, because it was horrible out.
That's true.
Anyway, looks nice out.
We have Carmen Babb with us this morning. Carmen is with Psychiatric Services, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Carmen, but here's the issue, and I'm just going to read a little bit of this, and then we can pick it up from there. Recently, Optum Healthcare took over the state's Medicaid-based outpatient behavioral health system. The Idaho Department of Health and Welfare is paying Optum $10.5 million each month as part of the cost-cutting privatization initiative. So far, the biggest concern is the unacceptable wait times when calling about authorization of services that must be acquired before treating new clients. This was, I think, a while back. I think they might have got that fixed a little bit, but now they still have issues where providers aren't getting paid, services are being cut. So now with that little bit of information, hopefully I haven't confused everyone.
Or is
Carmen,
there something that Kelly left out?
Yeah, is there something that we left out here?
Well, I think that to start, by means of education for the listeners, Medicaid is split into two segments here in Idaho. We have Molina Medicaid, which handles the medical side, and then there's Optum Idaho, which handles the behavioral health. And so there's two different payer sources there. So somebody might have Medicaid and they think, well, I haven't had to deal with Optum. If they're Medicaid and they're going to their primary physician for medical care, that's going to be paid for by Molina. And so what we're talking about today is Optum Idaho. And yes, they did start with a lot of problems as far as the phone calls and long wait times and that kind of thing.
I heard one. Could this be actually right? Someone had to wait 7 hours on the phone? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And like I said, some of that's been corrected. But there were practitioners in my office that waited literally 7-8 hours or more.
How would you ever get your work done? You can't.
You can't.
So you have patients out there and you're on the phone for 8 hours waiting for
authorization to provide service. So if you don't sit there and wait, you don't get the authorization to be able to provide the service.
Wow. But you can't provide the service without their okay.
Correct.
So it's a catch-22.
Yes. And providers statewide were screaming about that. And apparently at one of the legislative hearings, somebody had the forethought to get Optum on the phone, and they were put on hold.
No.
And the legislators were able to see how long they sat. They were on hold through the entire hearing.
How long was the hearing?
That I don't know. I was not present at that hearing.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the legislators were able to see that. And so immediately Optum stepped up and they did change that. And so now what they're doing is they're requiring authorization online. Once again, the provider has to get online and they have to enter all this information into the computer. A lot of it is duplicate from what we've already done in the office, but they have to enter it into the Optum system. So they start entering that information. Sometimes it's 45 minutes to an hour entering information.
How long does it take for them to respond?
Typically 2 weeks.
What?
2 weeks.
Now, who was doing this before Optum?
Molina Medicaid was handling all of the behavioral health and the medical.
So they split that off from them.
Yes.
Were there problems with Molina?
Not like this, no.
Why did they split to Optum?
There were issues in the mental health system that the legislators decided they needed correcting.
Such as?
And, well, a lot of PSR. PSR is psychosocial rehabilitation services, okay? And Optum came in and changed the name to CBRS, Community-Based Rehabilitation Services. I think that throws a lot of people off, too. It's the same service, PSR, CBRS. It's just a different name. So there were problems with agencies overbilling or seeing patients for years and years on PSR. PSR is a teaching profession. What we do as a PSR is we go into the patient's home. We go out into the community with them and teach them to live with their mental illness. Optum is saying that we need to get in there teach the patients to live with their mental illness and get out. You know as well as I do, not everybody learns at the same pace.
Yeah, how's that working for you?
Yeah, some people that really struggle in the community, they might go to their counselor and say, I have anxiety and panic attacks when I go into the community. And the counselor can say, well, do X, Y, Z when you go into the community. But they're not there with them. The PSR,
and that's the last time they meet with them? That's it? They meet with them once?
No, they can see a counselor over a period of time.
Okay.
But the counselor's trying to teach them these coping skills, these symptom management skills by telling them this is what you need to do.
Kind of like telling an alcoholic, well, don't drink anymore.
Yeah, just don't drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The PSR actually goes into the community with them. So they're present when they see that panic attack.
Right.
They can corner the patient and work with them and teach them, okay, this is what's happening. This is what you're feeling. Let's work on this, So it's hands-on approach.
So it changed why, do you think? Money, time? Why did they change the two methods? From PSR to the community-based whatever. You said
all they changed was the name.
Yeah, but you said they also aren't going into the community with them.
That's what the PSRs do. PSR, CBRS, they go into the community with them. What Optum is saying is that we need to go out there, get it done in 3 months, 6 months, and be done with the patient. Some of the patients don't learn it that fast. And you might be able to work with a patient 3 to 6 months on something, but you're working with them on one thing, and then there's something else that they need to be working on. So sometimes patients can't be taught these skills in a very short period of time. Sometimes
and what's happening to these patients?
They are getting left without service.
And what's happening to those patients?
From there, they end up in the hospital, psychiatric hospitals, or they end up jumping off the bridge.
Or in jail.
In jail. I mean, it's always worst case. We end up with patients who are isolating in their homes. They're just not coming out, and there's no way for them to get the services in the community that they need.
We have a caller. Top story, you're on the air with Carmen Babb. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello?
Well, I thought
did you hit the right button?
Hello?
Hey,
Hello?
how are you today?
You talking to me?
We're talking to you.
Okay. I have a hard time talking on the radio because troubles I've had.
Oh.
But my brother called me from up there. A man, a Cape Coral, Florida businessman, put 6 flags, little ones, out on the grass in front of his business. The police said somebody called in and it offended him, ordered them removed.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the last segment. So
no, well,
right?
or does he have mental illness? What happened to the man?
Did you have a question for Carmen?
You talking to me again?
Yep, talking to you again.
No, I was explaining about the flags. He wouldn't remove them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we've got
I was thinking that it was a homeless man and needed help.
We'll talk about that at another time. We're talking to Carmen Babb right now. We're talking about this issue with Optum. The bottom line here, the way this works, in case people don't understand it yet, is Optum gets $10.1 million a month from the state to pay for these services.
Yeah, to pay providers,
to pay for the providers, and the less they have to pay, the more they make.
True.
So the thing that they are going to want to do is try to get out of paying as much as they can. Do you think that's kind of at the heart of this?
It would appear that way. It would appear that way.
And Carmen, you had told me, and it was also reported in the paper about how some of these providers are getting 1-cent checks, 2-cent checks. What is that all about?
That did happen to psychiatric services. We had an explanation of benefits showing claims that we had submitted, and the payment that we received on each of those claims was 13 cents per claim. And when providers started complaining, of course, the department went to Optum and said, Department of Health and Welfare went to Optum and said, what is going on? Why are these people only getting paid pennies on the dollar? And the response they got was, well, it was only 29 agencies statewide, and it was a glitch in the system, and we're working on it.
Only.
Psychiatric Services is a member of the Mental Health Providers Association of Idaho. So we have an email group that covers all these providers across the state. We decided to do a quick tally and see how many of us were affected by it. Within 24 hours, we had over 50 agencies that had been affected. So
kidding.
those numbers were taken to the legislators and to the Department of Health and Welfare. And then Optum said, oh, oops, we've got it fixed. No problem. And within a couple of weeks, but it was still a couple of weeks that we were waiting for payment.
Did they give the exact payment? When did they reissue checks?
They did reissue, yes, and
minus the 13 cents.
Yes.
And you also told me that you had submitted 95 claims, and they didn't have records of any of them, correct?
That's correct. There was one point in time when I had, it was actually 97 claims that were over 30 days past due. And when I submitted them back to Optum for a second time, some of them a third time, they said that they did not have any of them in their system. And
that is so frustrating.
Very quickly came back and said, well, then you have a faulty system, which they admitted. They said, yes, we do. We're working on it. We don't know what the problem is, but
did you ever get paid for those?
Yes.
But how aggravating.
But the situation is that it used to be under Molina, if we submitted claims on Thursday for the week, the next Wednesday, that money was in the bank.
Because how do providers stay in business?
Exactly. We have to get paid. And so now with Optum, their claim is, and their claim to the Department of Health and Welfare is that they pay 99% of clean claims within 30 days. And when they were in my office here a couple weeks ago, I told them that has never been the case at Psychiatric Services. We have never been paid 99% of clean claims in 30 days. It just doesn't happen.
How did they respond to that?
They said, we know our claim system is a problem and we're working on it.
Is there anything that they have working? This is just a pat answer. Well, yeah, we know we got a problem.
And this is a private company, correct?
Optum is a branch of United Behavioral Health Care. It's a huge insurance company, and then Optum is a branch of that handles behavioral health. They're also in New Mexico. They're in Washington. They're in Utah.
Are other states having these problems?
Yes. In fact,
so it's not just this.
No. And it's like I said earlier. I believe that Optum came in with the intention of let's fix these problems and restructure behavioral health. And instead of coming in with the hand tools they need to just take it one step at a time, they came in with bulldozers and ended up closing a lot of providers. There are providers statewide that closed their doors because they're not getting paid in a timely manner. And ultimately, yes, these providers are hurting. I mean, those are jobs that we're losing.
Yeah.
But the patients are left hanging. They have absolutely no place to go.
Carmen, we're going to continue.
Yeah, we have Carmen Babb with us. Carmen is with Psychiatric Services. We're talking about Optum, which is the organization that pays the providers for psychiatric services on Medicaid within the state. Did I say that right?
You did.
All right, very
There you
good.
go,
I'm
Carl.
getting better.
Things are working today.
By December 31st, I'll have this down pat.
Oh,
we'll be right
gosh.
back here on Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Janice Moore.
Janice Moore, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is skeleton.
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 Okay, they still got scary words in October 24th. I'm impressed.
Here's how this works. You go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on Word of the Day, type in skeleton, and then listen Monday. And if you hear your name Monday and you typed in skeleton today, you win $100.
Wow.
That's not a bad deal.
No.
Carmen Babb is our guest this morning. Carmen is with Psychiatric Services. That's in Twin Falls, I'm assuming.
That is correct.
Okay. We're talking about Optum and all the problems associated with that since the state of Idaho went to Optum to pay Medicaid providers for mental health services within the state. So I don't know where to. We're 15 minutes into this, and some of the stories I'm hearing is like this is outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that the legislature. What
is the legislature doing?
And we talked about this during the break. What are the possibilities of going back to Molina because they seem to be able to know how to do this?
Right, and we were told that was not an option. They could not go back to Molina. They signed a 3-year contract with Optum. We're 1 year into that contract, and you know, I've attended many provider meetings with legislators present, and it seems to me like when we have those meetings, the problem is that we end up all complaining and instead of coming up with solutions. And I think one of the biggest things that we need to do as providers is get the ear of our legislators. That's what needs to happen because the legislators are listening to the Department of Health and Welfare and they're listening to Optum. And I'll tell you, I went to a legislative dinner one evening, and every single legislator I approached about Optum, wanting to talk to them about Optum, the first thing they said to me was, "Oh, they're doing such a great job."
Based on what?
Exactly. Based on the reports they're getting from the Department of Health and Welfare and from Optum's own stats that they're putting out, saying we pay 99% of claims. They have these figures down, and that's what they're giving the legislators. The legislators aren't listening to the providers, and that's what I'd like to see happen.
So my question is, by saying to you that we can't go back to Molina, that we have to stay with Optum, is it because of the contract, or is it because someone's getting money because of their campaign? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I am sorry, but it always is follow the money. And there are terms in a contract that if you aren't fulfilling your terms, you should have every right to terminate that. If there's not a termination clause in there, then something's wrong with that contract.
Right.
Are they fulfilling their obligations? Per their contract?
No, as far as the claims are concerned, no.
So why
that's one point. I don't know how many other points there are in the contract. Yes.
Yeah.
I assume that you've had contact with the Department of Health and Welfare and saying, hey, this is what's happening. How come you keep telling the legislators that everything's great?
Correct.
What do they say?
They don't really have an answer. They just keep saying, well, we want to hear your complaints. We want to hear your concerns.
No,
Send them in. And that's probably true, Jill. They don't.
They don't.
Because
who's over health and welfare?
Tom Shanahan, is he? I think he's the director of the state.
Anyway, go on.
I could be wrong there. But.
They have a process for grievances and disputes and complaints that providers can use. And they say that once you enter that complaint or grievance, that someone will get in touch with you. Well, I've done that, and I've heard nothing. And I'm not alone in that. There are providers all through the state.
There's a glitch. Sorry, Carmen.
Yeah,
there's a glitch.
But they're working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it. That's part of their system that's bad as well. Now, you said they're also being sued in several states.
I know they are in New Mexico. Because
Optum is not.
Optum.
Optum, Idaho is or Optum in New Mexico.
Yeah.
The governor of New Mexico is just livid because of the decline in the mental health system there since Optum took over. And that's really all I know about that. I don't know what the specifics are. I don't know if they went in there with the same bulldozer approach that they did here.
Is Governor Otter outraged? Have we heard anything from the governor's office?
If anybody has, I don't know about it. I'm not aware of that. I have not heard from him. And that's something that I would like to see happen, is I would like to see the legislators reaching out to providers and saying, what's going on? I don't want them to sign this contract again.
When do they have to sign it?
2 more years.
In 2 more years, but they could be able to terminate. I mean, seriously, if they have this many egregious violations of their contract, they should terminate and just go to Molina.
At the least, they should have monetary penalties, and I don't know if that has happened.
Are there monetary penalties in the
written
contract?
Into the contract, yes.
There are, and as far as you know, you don't know if they've been penalized.
Yeah, I don't know.
You guys have been penalized.
We have
13-cent checks.
Well, you mentioned a while ago how many, and just in the southern Idaho area, how many providers have closed up because they didn't get the.
There's been at least 4 or 5 that I've heard about personally, and I'm sure there's more.
Yeah,
and there was
that's
one
just
in
southern
Burley.
Idaho.
Yeah, and then one in Burley as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, those are jobs, not to mention the people that need the help.
Exactly.
Now, I know a few years ago they really slashed the health and welfare budget tremendously because, to balance the budget, so to say, oh, we're doing well and balance the budget, but on the backs of people that need help. And we have heard from, I believe it was Brent Reinke who said the jail population is increasing, and with a lot, then they feel like they're mental health workers, that's what they have to deal. And at one point, weren't they going to do a mental health prison? Weren't they considering that?
Yeah, they were considering that. Yeah, that's right.
Why not put the money into these people so they don't go to jail and can still function in society?
Right.
We're talking with Carmen Babb from Psychiatric Services, and we'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call for questions or comments. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We got a caller waiting, and we've got more to talk about here. Just wanted to mention, though, that this is chainsaw and leaf blower season. Chainsaws, if you're getting wood for the winter, or trimming up the trees, or, just
something.
Whatever you use a chainsaw for, and they're actually quite a versatile tool. Echo Chainsaws available at Clearwater Power Equipment at 252 Washington Street. Give them a call at 734-7767. Another issue right now are leaves. I was looking at my trees yesterday, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, they're bare. Then I looked at the ground and I saw where they were.
And then Kelly blew him to his neighbors.
I prayed
with his leaf blower.
I prayed for 50-mile-an-hour winds. Or a leaf blower.
A leaf blower.
Yeah, from Clearwater Power Equipment, because they've got the Echo leaf blowers on. I think they have about, I don't know, they have like 90, 100-mile-an-hour winds coming out of those leaf blowers. So that'll do it. So I'd check those out if I were you. 252 Washington Street, that's Clearwater Power Equipment. Give them a call at 734-7767. We are talking to Carmen Babb here this morning from Psychiatric Services of Twin Falls and about the job that Optum is doing, which pays mental health providers via Medicaid throughout the state of Idaho. We got a caller, so let's take it. Top story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just a quick question. Is Optima, are they a for-profit company?
Yes.
Yeah, they're a business, a private
They're an
business,
insurance
right?
company, and they are a branch of United Behavioral Health Insurance. So
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like where the ultimate responsibility for this whole fiasco lies is you have to kind of go to the top, which is our state legislature, the ones that appropriate the monies for these things to hold these people's feet to the fire.
And Carmen, you
Which
have
she
done
has
that.
done, yeah.
Tell the caller your responses from the legislators.
when I was at a legislative dinner with many legislators in the room, every time I approached a legislator wanting to talk to them about Optum, the first thing they said to me was, Optum's doing a great job. And I would try to turn them around and say, no, you need to hear me for a minute. And they would say, oh, no. Optum's doing a great job. We hear from the Department of Health and Welfare all the time. And it was left at that.
Perhaps what needs to happen is that when you go into privatization, I think CCA is another example.
Yeah.
But perhaps the voters need to speak on election day, with their votes when they go in. If
That's
the people
coming
up there
up.
are not doing the job,
Yep.
then maybe we need to kick them out.
I think so,
Well
because
said.
I'm sure many of those legislators are up for re-election right now, and that's Tuesday the 4th, so vote them out, get someone in who'll care, right?
Yeah.
Well, you must have reached the point of frustration,
Mm-hmm.
you and many of the other providers in the state. It's like, what else can we do?
Exactly. And it's like I said, solutions are what we need to start presenting, and not just the complaints about what the problems are. And many times we've provided solutions to Optum, and basically those are met with, well, that's not how we do it, and they move on and they keep doing.
See, that's one of the downsides of this deal is they are a private for-profit organization. Nothing wrong with that, but if people wind up going off to a mental health hospital or wind up going to jail, then that's that much less money they have to pay out. So
they make more money.
They don't see that as a downside. The taxpayer, on the other hand, is footing the bill, and the taxpayer would see that as a downside.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the company that's providing the service is making more money because they're putting out less.
They have multi-million-dollar profits every year.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, at $10.1 million
a month.
per month just from the state of Idaho,
and then,
I would hope they were.
The other thing you talked about is, a lot of times one of your doctors or whatever would call in to them or
the clinicians,
the
PSRs,
yes,
or the counselors, yes,
to get a procedure approved or counseling or whatever, and you have a 5-minute phone call or something.
What happens is when a request is submitted to Optum to provide a service for a patient, sometimes those are denied, and so when they're denied, we file an appeal, and then what we get is about a 5-minute phone call with one of Optum's psychiatrists. So we have that short period of time to try to explain to this doctor what is going on with the patient. And typically the doctor will say, no, try something else, or the patient's had services for too long, or they just don't qualify, and they come up with something to deny the treatment.
Well, because they have to pay. I mean, that's what insurance companies were doing all the time.
Yes.
Was coming up with excuses to deny paying claims, and they make more money.
Yes.
I mean, this doesn't seem like it's helping anyone.
The frustration is that we sit there, look in the patient eye to eye. We know what's going on. We know this patient's history. We know the patient. And somebody on the telephone that's never met them, hasn't seen them, doesn't know what they're going through,
and never will,
is the one making the decision as to what treatment they get.
Wow.
And that's very frustrating for us.
So, Kelly, you had a theory at the break.
I did.
And what was that theory, Kelly Class? Can you evaluate him quickly, Carmen?
I'm trying to remember what I said.
I'll start getting Optum on the phone now. Let's see what kind of treatment we can get you. Maybe by Monday they'll answer. You talked about perhaps this is some kind of a plot to honestly,
The state of Idaho does not seem to have been, over the past few years, does not seem to have been very receptive and very sympathetic to many mental health issues in the state. And we have talked to Brent Ranke with the state prison system, and he says the problem is that state of Idaho doesn't have anything to handle. You know what? I'll finish this when we come back. Time is getting away
Please remember your thought.
Yes. We are back. 736-0300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. I had an interesting call during the break from another provider who had some interesting stuff to say. Carmen Babb is our guest this morning. She's with Psychiatric Services of Twin Falls. We're talking about the group Optum, which furnishes Medicaid payments to mental health providers throughout Idaho and 22 states, I guess, total, according to the caller that I had. The theory that I had that this kind of looks to me like is before I get to his comments, over the last few years, it seems like the state of Idaho has not been very receptive nor sympathetic to a lot of the mental health issues in the Medicaid area in the state of Idaho. And we have heard results of that from law enforcement, from the prison system, saying, we're getting more and more of these people who are in the prison system, and they don't belong there because we're not helping them before they get to that point. It almost seems like it is some sort of a conspiracy, a plot for this to happen because they're not interested in it. They're not sympathetic to it. So as long as they've got somebody there, whether they're doing a good job or a bad, they can say, well, we're doing our job and that's all we can do. And so nothing gets done.
Or maybe get rid of providers. Who knows?
And get rid of providers, during the break, I had a call from a gentleman. He didn't identify himself, so all I can say is
Deep Throat. We'll call him Deep Throat.
Yeah, take this for what, I don't know who it was, but he did say he was a provider. He said that, I believe it's Representative Fred Wood from Burley, who has been kind of on top of this thing all along, essentially told him that you're just going to have to deal with it.
Why?
So I don't know. I'm just saying what he said.
Who has a connection? Yeah. Who has a connection?
Why can't they fix this? Why won't they fix this?
And if they don't after a year, then terminate them and get a provider, go back to Melina, who was paying you within a week. Yes. And keeping providers online. Why would anyone have to live with it?
His theory is, and it sounds like a pretty good theory, they take this millions of dollars they get from the state at the beginning of each month and draw interest on it for a few days.
Oh, sure.
And so they don't pay that out. He said, I believe he said last month he says he consistently bills around $2,000 a week in services. And he said the last month for his payment from Optum was $230.
How can anyone survive on that and follow the money? When we start seeing financial disclosure statements, start seeing if it's from Optum or United. Who is it?
United Behavioral Health.
Right. And I'm sorry for Representative Fred Wood to say that to you. And if is he up for re-election?
I don't know.
I wouldn't vote for him.
Again, I don't know who that was. That's just what the person said. So whether,
well,
I cannot confirm.
We can't confirm, but
verify.
If that is accurate, I would say you no longer have my vote. Same with the ones that are local that are doing nothing.
736-0300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think this is why it's so important this time for people to really start voting on the issues and not because there is an R behind the name or because there is a D behind the name.
Right.
And if we continue to keep these same politicians in office, then I think that those who vote for them deserve exactly what they get. Because we have the same people in, nothing is changing. Do we honestly think it's going to all of a sudden change? And if that representative honestly said just deal with it, he has no business representing and helping out Idaho because clearly he does not have the people's best interest at heart. And so I really hope that people will vote this time, that they're ready for a change, because I hear a lot of people complaining, but I see a lot of people still willing to vote for the same people over and over again. And that's the definition of insanity. So Idaho is insane if we keep these same people in.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree 100% more. I could not agree. What do you think, Carmen?
Well, and that's why I was saying we really need the ear of these legislators. I don't think they're listening to the providers. They're listening to the wrong people.
Well, and so, yeah, they have a blind ear. So you've talked to them many times.
Yes.
They aren't helping you, are they?
I haven't seen any change. I mean, he was talking about getting how much money versus 2,000. He got a few hundred. Yeah. That happens to me on a regular basis.
How do you keep your doors open? And if your door's shut and you're one of the largest providers, you said that people come from everywhere, right?
We have patients coming from Elko, Nevada to Sun Valley and from Idaho Falls to the Nampa Eagle area. We have patients covering that whole area that come to us.
So if you close down, what kind of an impact would that have?
The mental health crisis would be extreme. In this area, it would be extreme.
Yeah.
And we see so much mental health issues. I mean, we have whatever.
I know that
Suicide,
there is controversy
whatever.
among whomever that, we shouldn't be paying for this anyway through Medicaid. It's just another government deal. But you know what? The state of Idaho has this $10.1 million that they're giving this group. We might be better off to keep that money within the state and distribute it ourselves. At least the money would be going to what it's supposed to, instead of to a company that apparently is saving a lot of it and then not giving it out to whom they should.
It was the same with CCA. The exact same with CCA, and they had to pull it back. Outrageous. You got a caller?
Got a real quick caller. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I mean, if you obviously would think the U.S. government's any better at this issue, I can tell you not. I go through the VA, and they're not any better.
Yeah.
They're not any better with physical or mental health. And I would vote for a Democrat if they'd quit wanting to raise my taxes. That's all they're about. Thank you.
Oh, please. We have the lowest tax base in the country,
Carmen,
and it covers things like this.
We are out of time, but thank
Carmen,
you very much
thank
for
you
this
for shedding light on this.
Enlightening information here.
You're welcome.
We'll keep
up
in
the
touch.
fight, Carmen.
All right.
It's time now for the Huckabee Report, brought to you this morning by Waddell & Reed. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. If you have concerns on this subject we've been talking about for the past hour, Senator Lee Hyder of Twin Falls is the chairman of the Health and Welfare Committee, the Senate Health and Welfare Committee, and he is the person to talk to. So get a hold of him and bend his ear, and I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to help out any way he can.
And he is up for re-election, so there you go. He might listen.
Also, I know that the irrigation season is winding down, but this gives you an opportunity to think about the upcoming irrigation season and what's called infrared barren from Far More of Idaho. These are overflights they do of your fields with infrared photography. And I have I'll show the people watching the video, I have this little pamphlet here that shows examples of infrared photography, and you might think that your field is doing just fine. Everything is wet where it should be and dry where it should be, but if you look at the infrared photography, you'll get a whole different outlook on that. So get a hold of the folks at Far More of Idaho and talk to them about this coming year. Signing up for Infrared Barren. They can tell you all about it. These overflights, they upload the information to your computer. You can look at it. You can see what needs to be done. You make the changes to your irrigation system, and your yields will increase. It doesn't cost. It pays to get Infrared Barren from Far More of Idaho.
That is so good, Kelly.
I thought so.
I know.
Yeah, I'm going to copyright that. I think like let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah. Let's do it. Anyway.
Also coming, our lunch today with our winner, Rebecca Mills-Soika.
And also
that'll be
tomorrow,
at Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center.
That's right. It should be fun. We're going to if you see a white limo in town, that's us.
That's right. Right around
Beep
noonish
and say
time.
hi. And
Yeah.
tomorrow is the last farmers market, Twin Falls Farmers Market, right in North College. I'm going to be there 9 to 1, and I'm going to have soup and I think my award-winning chili. And I'm selling cookbooks, so if you want to gift for Hanukkah or
You're
Christmas.
You're always selling cookbooks.
Well, you know what? You know how many I got?
A truckload.
Yeah, a storage unit. So anyway, come on out, have some chili, say hi.
All right, very good. And don't forget, coming up a week from today, it's Bish's Trick-or-Treat on Bish's Street. That'll be in the Fred Meyer parking lot. We will be there, trick-or-treat for the kids, a good, safe place to come and well, we'll tell you more about it as time goes on and it gets a little closer. But we're done for today.
And happy birthday, my friend. Tomorrow's Kelly's birthday.
Thank you very
happy.
Much. Thank you. And thank you for having
You're getting
Mrs.
better,
Miller sing me
not
happy.
older.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I say that without laughing? Kidding.
Say, we'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.